Hey, my pals, are you ready to bust some myths? I shared in my email today that one of my favorite TV shows of the last 20 something years is Mythbusters, that was from Discovery. I also like Good Eats and Alton Brown, and there's some similarities between the two science plus entertainment, and taking apart things that we think may be true, or maybe they're urban legends, or maybe we've heard them repeated, but are they true or are they myths? So, some things that we may have heard or seen about marketing, content marketing, and social media. Social media is part of content marketing, folks. They're more myth than reality. So I wanted to talk about that today. It's also a chance for me to continue practicing and walking my walk, walking my talk on repurposing content, because this is a topic that I've talked about in the past, and it's still popular. And I've noticed that we're still talking about, in some cases, the same myths that have been around for like a decade. So I get to revisit and repurpose content and help some of you folks bust some myths in the meantime. So this is, and a chance for me to reuse some of those notes and those emails and revisit some popular topics. So I'm research and facts and data driven, and it's disheartening for me when I see smart folks like you, my mighty pals, get sucked in to those myths that are still swirling around email and social media and blogging and business building and entrepreneurship and all the other aspects of marketing. So one of the places that I had used to turn to a lot in the past was the Agora Pulse Social Media Lab. Yes, Agora Pulse is a social media management tool, but they also put their money where their mouth was, and they literally put money behind experiments every month to test social media myths. They're one of the ones who put big bucks behind testing. Does scheduling get penalized by the social media platforms? Because obviously it'd be really bad if it did, because that's their tool. That's what it helps you do. And no, it doesn't. So, but yes, things have changed, and sadly, the social media lab doesn't seem to be running new tests and busting existing myths, which makes me sad. But I still turn back and I check out some of the resources. I also go to Mari Smith to keep up on all things Facebook. I turn to Jen Herman of Jen's Trends for most things Instagram. I look at Social Media Examiner, Social Media Today, Search Engine Marketing Land, and lots of other places. Like, Jen is great about busting rumors on Instagram about how, oh, hashtags don't matter, or you should only use 3 hashtags, or no, wait, use all 30 hashtags, or what's shadow banning? No, shadow banning doesn't exist. Using the right tags on Instagram will still help you be found in search, which is really important if you have new accounts and you're trying to find new people and new followers. But you got to be a little more strategic about it. So that's one of the things we're going to get to. I ran a poll in the Mighty Marketing Mojo Facebook group, hey, Mighty Pals, and asked them to vote on some of these topics and myths that I thought I wanted to relook at. So I reordered my notes for today based on those votes. The main thing is you don't have to remember every source I've cited, or you don't have to read the blog from every social media platform and every social media management tool or every content marketing source out there, because you have me, your marketing geek, who mostly does that for you. And if I come across the stuff that you really need to know, I will share it in Thursday tips via emails, on videos, and other posts to make sure that you have the information you need to go back and do what you need to do and make your impact in the world. I'm probably overdue for refreshing blog posts about busting content marketing myths. So let's start off with number one, consistency. So the question was, to be successful, we have to publish content frequently and lots of it. No, that's a myth. Consistency is not the same as frequency. Consistency can mean you email every Thursday, like I do, or you send something every other Tuesday to your email list. Maybe you send one big monthly newsletter, and maybe a shorter email just to touch base with folks, maybe every other week. So again, there's not a set formula that says you must post X many times per week per day, per month. Hey, Erica made it live. Woo! Yes. So the most important thing is that you want to remain top of mind, especially if you have a product, a service, a course, you're doing like one-on-one service or coaching where people aren't ready today, this Thursday, but they might be next Thursday, or maybe they're going to be ready in a month from now. This is a lot like what I've talked about in the past when I was an ad agency executive. Why do car commercials advertise all the time? Because they don't know when your car is going to break down and you need to go looking for them. So they want to make sure that they stay top of mind. And other products are more seasonal. It doesn't make sense to run lots of ads for flowers for Mother's Day in February. Well, it does if you're making them Valentine's photos, or maybe you don't run them in July. Okay, so the thing is, we think that consistency has to mean frequency. We think we've gotten into this myth that we have to be on social media and other places all the time and posting multiple things, even multiple things per day. When actually there's research out there that shows that when you post multiple times per day, for example, on Instagram, you're pushing your own content out of your viewers' feeds. And so that's not good. You actually don't want to post 5 times a day over there. No. That you might instead want to try varying the content. So maybe you have one image post 3 days a week, but you do an Instagram story every day. Those are different. They disappear. Poof, ephemeral. Or maybe you decide you're going to work in Reels. Generally, you don't necessarily see as much success on Facebook when you're posting every day, unless you've got a huge audience, because then, let's face it, they're not all seeing you every day. Consistency means finding a schedule that works for you and that you can keep up with, because if you can't keep up with it, then you are inconsistent, and that's not helping you. This is really true, especially for blogging. So much has changed since a lot of us first started writing blogs 10 years ago or even longer. Google and your real humans who are reading you and your real human audience are now much more likely to reward you for longer, meatier, more comprehensive, and more evergreen posts versus lots of little ones that are quickly out of date. It doesn't behoove you to blog daily. It may not even behoove you to blog weekly. You have to think about that. Consistency for you could mean showing up once a week, every week, whether that's on Instagram, in your email, or on your blog. Or it could mean that you're going to show up twice a month, every month. Your consistency may vary for different platforms. Maybe Instagram is draining, so you're doing 2 posts a month. But email you can rock and send that out once a week. Okay, so there's that. The next one. Are there penalties for using scheduling tools, especially third-party scheduling tools on social media? It's amazing that this one has been a myth for at least 10 years. And there's some great, like a lot of urban legends and myths, there's a little bitty grain of salt. Like, because way back in around 2010, 2011, Facebook did penalize for using a third-party tool. That's not true anymore. And let's also think about it. Would Hootsuite and Buffer and Agora Pulse and Sprout Social and Tailwind and Planoly and every other social media and Publer and SmarterQ and MeetEgger and every other social media tool on the planet still exist and have paid customers if none of them worked? No. So I can also tell you that, yes, multiple sources, including the folks at Agora Pulse, put money behind this. And they tested and they're like, no, it's a myth. However, the other reason this one hangs around a lot is because the truth is organic reach is down. You know, your organic reach, meaning without paid ads or sponsorships or boosted posts, can be as low as 1% on Facebook. And when a lot of us got started and when Facebook wasn't as full as 1 billion people and 3 billion users, well, yeah, stuff went big a lot easier and we reached a lot more people a lot easier. So everybody assumed that it must be the tools that are dragging us down, and it's not. It's just Facebook changing their algorithm and their ad models. So it feels like there's penalties. But do not be afraid to use the scheduling tools that are built in within Facebook. Creator Studio, or now they seem to be pushing everybody over to the Meta Business Suite, so you can do Facebook and Instagram, or use the third-party tools. I schedule things out via Canva. Um, Somewhere I may still have a very, very limited Hootsuite account. Very limited because it used to be you could do lots of things for free. Now, not so much. And I do have some other tools that help me reshare things, like SmarterQ or SocialBee. Note, Instagram still has a pretty locked down API interface, the thing that lets third-party tools talk to Instagram. So only some approved tools that are approved for doing everything let you schedule all the things on Instagram in advance, like scheduling a carousel, those series of posts, or a story, or images. I don't know that any of them are letting you schedule a reel yet. You may see them saying that they let you schedule videos or reels. I know this came up in a question that somebody had asked about, I think, SmarterQ, and the answer is no. What was happening is that it's basically scheduling a reminder, and the reminder goes to you to go to your phone to post to Instagram. And that was how it used to work for a lot of years for all of the Instagram posts. So double check. If Instagram is one of your places to talk to your people, check the tools you're using to see what exactly their limitations are, but you're not getting hurt and not getting seen because you're using the tool. Use the tools, make your life easier, folks. Please do what's easy. OMG hashtags. So there were two potential rumors and myths here going on. One, oh my God, I have to use lots of hashtags and use lots of hashtags on all the platforms. So no, don't do that. The other one was, oh my God, if I used hashtags, am I going to get banned? Or what if I use a banned hashtag? So let's separate that out for a second. No, don't use all of the possible hashtags on all of the platforms. And this is one of those reasons why it, just because the tool lets us do it, doesn't necessarily make sense to do so, to have something that you wrote and a picture that you're sharing on Instagram go immediately exactly as is to Facebook. Why? Because hashtags matter on Instagram a lot in terms of being found in search. And like I said, the person I love and follow the most for being super smart on this is Jen Herman of Jen's Trends, who are saying that, yes, using all the hashtags or the space for all the hashtags smartly and the right strategy for hashtags will still help you get found and your content be found on Instagram. Using 30 hashtags on Facebook will just make you look silly, because no matter how much Facebook pushes, hashtags are not the thing here. Yes, in the last 2 years, it has become slightly more helpful for your public Facebook page to use them for being found. But again, we're talking 2 to 4 hashtags, not 30. There's a limit on the number of hashtags you can possibly fit in a tweet as well. And again, there's lots of people who use ironic, made-up hashtags on Instagram and Twitter, and that's fine if that's part of your brand attitude. But just know that you made them up, which means only you're the one who knows them. Nobody's searching for them. You want to be searched for, and you want to be found. So, for example, and this came from Mari Smith, and I've done 2 rounds of her course on organic FBOM, Facebook organic marketing. And for your public Facebook page, it's okay to use a few tags. What we want to do, however, is separate them from the rest of your text and any URLs. Why? Like in other words, if you see posts where it's like white space, dot, period, line, period, line, period, line, and then there's the hashtags are there helping us to get found in Facebook search for the few people who are clicking and using them. However, a lot like Instagram, when they see a tag, if you click the tag in the link, it's going to automatically open you up to where all of the other posts on that platform using that tag are. And then the next thing you know, they're off of your post and they're off reading somebody else's post about keto baking or content marketing myths. I'm like, oh, damn it. So you have to be real careful on any of the platforms that use hashtags. Know that On the one hand, people are searching those tags and finding your content. And on the second hand, anytime where a hashtag is a literal clickable link, it's taking them away from your content and you've lost their attention. In Facebook groups, hashtags serve a different purpose. You might have a couple that are specific to your group because they let your group members find the related posts on a topic. So for example, in Mighty Marketing Mojo, I use hashtag Thursday tips so that you can find Thursday tips. If there was another one, when I did that Trello challenge, whenever we posted about the Trello challenge, anybody could find and see the posts about Trello challenge by clicking on that hashtag. Now, here's the alternate side of the hashtag myth. That hashtags are too hard and using them will get you banned. Okay, there's no such thing really as banning, exactly, or you. There's no such thing as you getting your account banned because you use some particular hashtag. And I will come back and I will drop the link in from Jen Herman, and I'm definitely going to drop in her link about where she rebutted some of the advice that had come from Instagram itself about how many hashtags you should use. So this is Jen Herman rebutting the IG advice on tags. And I'm also sending you this link, and I will make sure that I come back and that I add it to the Facebook group, mostly because you want to read her blog and you want to go back and read her articles on shadow banning. There are some hashtags that Instagram has determined are harmful, mostly because they're explicit or harmful, or because they were spammy, or in most cases, they're being throttled because they're too generic. So what I mean, technically, the term Easter, just EASTER, is technically banned. What it means is it's throttled. Instagram isn't going to show you content with that because it has become so large that the hashtag has become meaningless. It's not going to help your posts get seen. So Instagram's just like, please don't do that. Instagram would prefer that you be more specific. Example, hashtag Easter 2022, hashtag Easter baskets, or even hashtag Easter baskets 2022. Be specific. Now, I'm also going to share that Jen, and this is just me, you may love that, while I'm still debating whether or not I really want to have an Instagram business account or not, I know that Jen Herman is the person I'm going to set me straight and get me set up for good. So this is Jen Herman's advice on best hashtag strategy. And I can't seem to spell the word hashtag right. And it's a short video. And you can watch it over there on YouTube. Yes, I'm sending some people from my YouTube account to Jen's YouTube account, and that's okay. The point being that she's telling you basically stop using those big generic hashtags that have millions of posts attached to them. Why? Because as soon as your wonderful little post goes up and it has that hashtag, it might get seen and then boom, it's automatically lost in the 3 million other posts that are about that topic. That you want to be looking for things that more have a couple 100,000, and you're going to use a few tags for that. And you're going to be looking for something that maybe only has 10,000 posts. That's a little bit more niche. And then you might get really niche where you invent your own hashtag for your brand. And you always use that one. So it's about using the hashtags that are right for you and for your audience so that your content on Instagram actually gets found and not just lost in a sea of other beautiful posts and engaging reels. All right, so let's go back and check. So the next one, when to post. So this is one of those ones that actually has me caught up in my own head. And I'm like, oh, am I believing the myth on this? The myth is that I'm a business and I should only post business stuff on weekdays. I only email on weekdays. It's only really rare if I send an email out on a weekend. And I almost never post into my Facebook group on weekends, and I never post to my Facebook page or LinkedIn on weekends. But is that a myth? Have I fallen into this trap that people aren't thinking about those things or those topics or don't want to hear from me on other days of the week? So, now I get for a lot of folks, the weekend time is sacrosanct. That is your family time. That is a time away from work. I worked really hard the last few years to try and make that the case for myself. However, we could be missing out a lot by always skipping weekends. So this is one of the ones where I'm going to say, come along with me and let's do the research. More importantly, you have to do your research, because what your audience is listening to and doing on a weekend may be different than what mine is. So that means looking at the Facebook analytics or Instagram analytics or LinkedIn analytics or your email marketing analytics or even your blog post analytics, and determining, are people reading things on weekends? Of course, this gets back to the question of, well, if you're not posting on the weekend, do they mean they don't have anything to read? Well, they could be catching up. I always look at my email marketing statistics and go, well, okay, Thursdays at like 10 a.m. is my most read time. Why? Well, because I send my emails out Thursday mornings. So Thursdays are going to be the most read. But then sometimes Fridays pop up in there, and then sometimes other days too. So you got to test and you got to do the research. And I think this is also one of those ones where, hey, let's go with, beating myth number one, use your scheduling tools and test scheduling out some conversation starters, some engaging content that might get people talking on some weekends, and see what happens. Anecdotally, I can say that I posted a couple of times in March or April on a weekend in Facebook in my group. It was a picture. Maybe it was because I was traveling, and because it was both personal and a picture, and probably because it was a weekend, it got a ton of engagement. So maybe I need to do that more often. So one of the other last questions. So we've got questions about Pinterest, video, and more. So we'll say real quickly, video marketing does not have to be hard, doesn't have to be slow, and it doesn't have to be expensive. I'm using Facebook right now. That's not expensive. And I've got a webcam that I've had for probably a decade. Not expensive either. I am using the least expensive microphone that I own of the 6 that I own. I'm using the $15 headset microphone. Does it make an appreciable difference if I plug in the $70 headphone or, microphone, or the $120 microphone? So, if you want to talk with me, but video doesn't, you also don't have to appear on camera at all, ever. I swear I'm finally going to do the workshop about video for the camera shy, or for those who never ever want to appear on camera. We're going to do that this fall, because we can make videos, especially videos that are great for social media, without us showing up and talking. Okay? You can even make the ones where it does look like we're talking. You can make reels using tools that aren't you and I on camera. Quickly to Pinterest. Again, that's one of those tools that I'm not using to my fullest for businesses. But the question is that Pinterest is only for consumer lifestyle, health, wellness, and crafters. And I've certainly seen enough courses and enough posts and research that says, no, that's not true. That Pinterest is more search engine than social media. Pins can have really long shelf lives. And that, yes, there's a lot of flux in what works with Pinterest. It used to be you could post something and you'd get hundreds and then maybe tens or thousands of traffic and hits from these really great pins that lasted for years. And okay, like everything else in social media, the algorithm changes and it's maybe a little bit harder. However, it's still worth considering and looking into if you have coaching, if you have services, because one of the big things is that people who are searching and browsing on Pinterest are in a shop and buy mode. So make sure you give them those options and link them back to content where they can go and download things and buy things from you. There are great people out there that teach Pinterest business strategies, and it is not just for kitchen bloggers, food bloggers, health, wellness, fitness crafters. So just know that while some of those brands may do really well and the best organically, there's still room for the rest of us. But all of this goes back to, do not add another social media platform if that's not something that you can be consistent with, and that's something that's going to bring you joy and ease, as opposed to, oh dear God, I have to go pen another pen. That's not helpful, folks. That's not good mojo. I love it. So Erica's telling me that she would love that workshop. Thank you. I want all the support, because I've been telling myself I'm going to do this workshop for like 3 years at least. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's coming in the fall. It's the only live from scratch, never taught before workshop that I'm going to create for the rest of this year. That's where that's going to go. So look, there's tons of more myths out there about social media. There's tons of more myth about content. But, things like, you don't have to join every social media platform. It is the wrong audience fit. If it's the wrong energy fit for you, if it requires, I say require, if the best practices on that platform require more content posting than you want to keep up with, then don't do it. No matter what, don't do any aspect of content marketing without having at least a bare basic plan. And when I say bare and basic, folks, you can plan on a post-it note if you need to. Okay, you can get 10 days worth of content, generic ideas, fit them on a post-it note. That is something you ought to be able to, that's where I started. That's something you can stick with and be consistent. And by all means, absolutely reuse and repurpose and repost all of your content from any of the platforms, email, blog, social media, from one social media to another social media. Remember, just because you posted something 6 or 9 months ago doesn't mean that the same people who are with you now saw it then. And even if they saw it then, they might not have been in the right mindset where it mattered. Share it again. If it's worthy, share it again. When I was putting this together and repurposing my own content, I saw that research from HubSpot says that 91% of marketers repurpose content across social media platforms. Well, duh. So I'd like to know, what are the other 9% thinking, and why not? So make sure we're part of that 90-something%. Okay? So everything's going to change. Email will change, social media will change, blogging will change, video will change. We don't want to just sort of dismiss that and like, oh, I give up. It changed again. We can adapt, and we can still follow good foundations of being educational, helpful, engaging, and consistent in terms of what does consistent look like for each of us. And I'm your marketing geek, so I'm here to help you keep up, do the research on what the trends are and how we can keep working with those core foundational bits of marketing so we can make that work for us, keep it easy, and not get overwhelmed. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you have more myths, drop them in the comments, and let's gonna see this. Maybe this is going to be another video. Maybe it'll become a blog post. Go out there and be mighty. Your community needs you. They need your message, so they need you out there consistently with it. Find your consistent mojo. Bye, mighty pals.